Oh yeah.
That's it. It's happy to be here.
So
Thank
yeah.
you so much for inviting.
Oh, of course. Any
Yeah,
chance to
yo,
hang
thanks for
with you.
coming.
Last week we were chatting about even though you were saying you're not directly involved, you're just a user tester for mobile testing. I was like, we got to have Nico. All the people I've met over the years, you're definitely one of the nicest, coolest, smartest. But all of the above, Nico. You're awesome.
Thanks, appreciate it. I don't want to be overhyped, so I let people make their own take their own conclusions about me.
Nah, I was digging into what you've been working on recently, and I was like, yes, this is gonna be a great one. So no, I'm excited as well, man. Thanks for coming on.
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, maybe to start, since there's probably people who have not met you and don't have a history with you, maybe give a little background and into how you even got into Decentraland and how you what was your first role, and that would be wonderful.
Sure. Yeah. One second. So
Screen
I've
working for
been
you, Decentraland?
Oh.
Sorry, Nico.
What'd you say?
Is the screen working for you in Decentraland?
Yeah.
I've got a blank one on my side. Maybe,
not
oh,
for
I just
me.
need to refresh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just refreshed myself.
Wait, yeah, I got a gray screen on mine.
Same here.
Okay. Let me just deactivate it and activate it again.
Oh yeah, that can sometimes.
Okay. Did it work or no?
It's black
I got a
now,
black screen, yeah.
which is, I guess, some kind of progress.
Yeah,
Well, at least
we're going in the right direction.
At least it's showing for me. I'm like, well, he got part of the. It's yeah, or maybe, let's see. It's always part of the fun. Nothing necessarily always works how you expect it. Okay, I'll activate it again. Yeah, sometimes you have to reload the world. I mean, like we were saying, and that does the trick. But
Try and refresh.
yeah, if not, it is streaming live on Twitter and YouTube right now.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So, and I'm recording it too. I always do like a backup. Well, let me make sure. Like now that I said that, I'm like, let me make sure I hit the record button. I always like to have like quadruple.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Yes, I have streaming,
have.
recording, virtual camera, so it's recording across everywhere. I always like to check to see if it's actually working. But Restream, do you ever use Restream, Nico?
Nope, I haven't.
It's been really.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah, so far, knock on wood, it's been really like smooth, effective. Nothing. I've tried other ones and nothing would ever work. It's just like I would be there 20 minutes trying to get things working, but so far it streams beautifully to YouTube, Twitter, and yeah.
Yeah, we use Restream for the whip.
Oh, really? Okay. That's how I found out about it. I think it was through you. You're the one who mentioned it to me. You're like, try this. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop fighting and trying to figure out different ways to use it. Cool. Yeah, I think, even if it should be, for me, I'm going to make sure, hopefully it's playing on there. If not, again, we have it across other places. So people should be able to see it. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still not seeing it, but yeah, there's not so much of a crowd in the scene right now, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can get started.
Cool.
So you were asking me how did I get involved in the Decentraland and where did I first come in?
Yeah.
I started about 7 or maybe 8 years ago now.
Oh wow.
It was a small team at that time, and I had a background in technical writing. I had worked in several more like B2B companies that had a lot of technical documentation about how to use their software. And when Decentraland was, just getting started with creating their own SDK, I had a couple of friends that I had worked with before, and they reached out to me. And my first role, my first focus was to write the documentation for the SDK. Basically, everything that you see in the creator section
Nice.
of the documentation was at some point written by me, or most of it really. Over the time, other people have contributed, but like the first few versions at least were entirely by me. But of course, we were a small company at that time. It was like 16 of us only. So I also ended up doing support and QA and asking for features and building events. There was no content team at that time. So I basically covered a whole lot of different roles. Over time, then I as the company grew, like things shifted many times. At one point, I was kind of the whole manager of engineering, I think, or
Oh
rather,
wow.
or like the explore engineering, like as an interim thing. But then I, yeah, got into a more logical role for me, which was like from the product side. But also in between, I was part of the content team, so I also helped build a lot of the old classic experiences. Like if you remember in 2020, the Halloween or the Christmas
Oh yeah.
experiences, I was
Yep.
full on involved in that. Um, and like today, I am not very much involved with content for events, but I'm always, you know, tinkering around and doing tests and building smart items and things like that. So I try to stay, you know, connected to the tools we develop. I try to always have some first person perspective of what we're building to, yeah, to not be disconnected from the reality of the users as much as I can.
No, definitely. I mean, I saw that recent, the recent Genesis Lab hackathon vibe coding, and you did the video, and so
Yeah,
and you have such a hit. Like,
that was fun.
if anyone ever wants to learn, there's a huge resource of videos, like you're saying, the content team like that you've done from the past. Even the old ones, even though things have changed, I love watching old ones too, just to see how things have evolved. And yeah.
Nice, nice. I have been told more than once that my voice is a good ASMR thing
Oh,
for
it
falling asleep.
totally is.
So
I was just gonna say, it's like you're just like calming to listen to, and it puts me in a state of mind where, like, I got this. He says I can do it, therefore. um, yeah. So your current
Dude,
role. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick. I mean,
no,
Rizzo.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say I was interested in what he's doing currently as well, and particularly on the mobile stuff. I feel like we've been hearing lots about it, and I haven't been able to get my hands on it yet. And yeah, just curious to hear your thoughts on yeah, what you're doing now and where it's going.
Mhm. So mobile is something that's being managed by the Regenesis Lab team, which is the whole organization, the Decentraland, is a bit atypical and sometimes confusing. But we have the foundation and we have the Regenesis Labs. They're two separate entities, and mobile is a project managed by the Regenesis Lab team. I'm, you know, somewhat involved in the testing, and I, have weekly calls with them and discuss things about mobile, every so often. But I'm not really, part of the team pushing that. So maybe I'm not the best person to talk about it. But I can mention that they are pushing towards a release in hopefully during this month. I know that they have mostly they're sorting out things with legal stuff with Apple and with enabling an app that theoretically involves quick crypto stuff and potentially gambling, etc., etc. So they're mostly jumping through hoops to get that approved. They're confident they will, but that might be happening more towards the end of the month.
Yeah, and you were.
I've been testing the mobile app. It's yeah, I mean it's been quite impressive how much they've be able to do with such a small team. Um, Still some polishing to do, of course, but it's definitely a very practical way to access the center end.
No, I love
Time
that.
will tell if more people end up using mobile than desktop. We'll see. We know that in several products that tends to be the trend. Uh, but we will be seeing soon, I guess.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you were is there going to be some creator tools within the mobile app, or is it just for exploring Decentraland? I was curious about that.
No, it's for exploring.
Okay.
What I mentioned earlier is that we want content creators to be able to test what they're building
Okay.
and see how it looks through the mobile app.
Oh, that's nice.
So as soon as the mobile app releases, very soon after, we plan on including a little functionality to the Creator Hub to allow you to not just run a preview in the Decentraland desktop, but also run a preview of your local scene through
Nice.
the mobile app. So you'd see a QR code appear, and you can scan that with your mobile app, and then access your scene through mobile and see how it looks.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. That's going to be, yeah,
Mhm,
a lot easier for testing and getting that perspective for sure.
mhm, mhm. So,
Very.
I mean, I know the mobile app is striving to look as much as possible as the Decentraland we all know, and have all the functionality behave as much as possible the same. But it uses a different engine. So, like, rendering across engines is always slightly different, like light and how materials reflect and whatever. There's always subtle differences, and also UI is a whole thing because on mobile you'll have like buttons to move forward and to jump and whatever as part of the UI. So if your scene includes its own UI, then you have to be mindful to not overlap with those platform level UIs of the mobile device. So yeah, that's an important reason why it's very useful to let creators test their scenes on mobile too.
No, I love that.
Dude, how much AI do you use in your work now and like vibe coding and it's something Fractilians and I have been talking about a lot and we
Mhm.
last week basically filled the entire event like sort of riffing on it and like tinkering around and everything and from stalking you a little bit it appears that you dove down that rabbit hole yourself quite a
Mhm.
bit and like probably much deeper and earlier than I have. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that and how that plays a role in what you do in the future of all of this?
I use Cursor every day, and I've become, you could say, kind of dependent on it at this point. Yeah, it's definitely an amazing tool. Like for certain things. I mean, there's a lot of hype, of course, that is always overhyped. But I've been like for creating content in the Decentraland, Cursor is an absolute game changer. I use it all the time.
Can you
Whenever I'm
explain why, man? I'm not super familiar with Cursor. Can you help me out a little bit, or for anyone who's
sure.
listening and isn't caught up?
So, like maybe you're more used to using AI, which is a lot of help too. But what's game changing about Cursor, it's not the only app that does that, but at least it was kind of like the first one to nail this, and what I became the most familiar with. The great thing about it is the ability to have the AI work as an agent. So you have your scene code, which might be hundreds of files, and it's a whole context of a project, and you write into a chat text that is right there in as part of your UI. You ask the AI to do something, and it changes your files and runs tests and um, basically implements what you asked it to do.
Gotcha.
So the AI doesn't just you know chat; it also builds stuff. And that's extremely powerful because like you might have a huge project with hundreds of files and you might tell it, I have this issue. You can describe the issue in human terms without knowing anything about the code that is running all of that functionality, and the AI can attempt to fix that like as if it were an expert developer who works with you.
Yeah.
And sorry,
Oh no,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm curious. Like I know, like connecting, different code bases to Cursor. Like in Decentraland, you just click code and it pops up Cursor. It's already connected. Like that process, was that something like how easy is that to implement with other code bases? It's pretty
I
much
didn't realize
seamless,
that.
right?
That's all.
I mean, am I thinking of it correctly? Like when I watch those tutorials, like the really cool ones you did and the ones that Lastrom did, it was all, you just click the button and it's all connected. I was just curious that process was it's different when you're using different code bases, correct? Obviously. I mean, I'm assuming.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Most places don't have a code button
Yeah, yeah.
like we
I
have there.
like that. That was really
Um,
nice. I was like, damn, this makes it so easy.
yeah, I was really happy with that functionality. It's kind of it's a nice gateway drug
Yes.
into vibe coding. I really like to think that the Decentraland can be that for many people. For a long time, I always took a lot of pride in that our SDK for many people was like their first experience writing code at all,
Hmm.
and that was like the gateway drug into um, you know becoming familiar with developing and with writing code.
Hmm.
Now we kind of live in a time when maybe that's not such a required skill. You can kind of delegate some of the toughest parts of that to to AI, but still the whole experience of vibe coding is a skill to get familiar with, and which now is more and more powerful. So yeah, now I like to think that the Decentraland can be the gateway drug into getting familiar with vibe coding rather than with coding as a as a more professional endeavor.
No,
Yo,
definitely.
I love that, man. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, like I said, it's something I've been tinkering around with myself. I wasn't familiar with Cursor. I didn't realize Decentraland had that type of integration. I was sleeping on that as well. Um, and uh, and it really just feels like that's the future of everything. What are you hoping that like looking down the line, 6 months, a year from now, and everything? What are you hoping that people will start to build with these tools, or what direction are you hoping,
Mhm.
like, in terms of it this being accessible to more people? Because for me personally, like a lot of the stuff that I'm able to do now with AI was way out of my reach. Technically, 6 months, a year ago, forget it, like a few years ago and everything. And so obviously this is opening the doors to more and more people to uh, put their creative hats on and do shit that they weren't able to, do previously. Yeah, where are you hoping to see this go, down the line?
Mhm. So one thing I'm trying to funnel into, or like say a lot of the things I'm doing now are trying to make a particular vision possible, I'd say, which is to have people share smart items more.
Yeah.
So in the Creator Hub, you have a whole collection of smart items that come with their own functionalities. You have doors and buttons and whatnot. For a long time, these assets were um, quite limited in what they can do. They only had the ability to take advantage of like predefined building blocks of functionality. Like you could make one of these play an animation or play a sound or like a few like limited building blocks and some possibility for combining them with logic. But you can only take those things so far. We recently added the ability to package code with a smart item. So now you could have a little bit of logic that you can drag into your scene without needing to understand any of that code. Of course, you can just drag it from the catalog right in, and with that, you have a whole sub scene that could be, a whole board game that is multiplayer, or a whole, I don't know, a whole particle system that makes it snow, or whatever. Um, and I really like the really like the idea of having the community help each other and having people build these modules of functionality that can be added to other scenes and and shared across scenes. So we've been recently building some of these more complex assets, include like a clap meter and a wearable scanner that like scans what wearables you're using, and based on that can open a door. Like we've
Nice.
been experimenting with a more elaborate kind of smart items, but really these are just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Oh, I love that. So right
Um,
now, is the smart items? I mean, I know they're in the Creator Hub. Is there also like another repository, like a library where you can go search, or just go to the Creator Hub? Like if let's say I make a smart item and I want to share it, is there a place I can share it with everybody? Or
Not so easily. Like, I'd love to have some kind of a marketplace for
yeah,
those even.
that would be
Uh,
wicked.
but
Yeah.
but well, until we get there, because there's a few things to sort out before we get there. Um, like you can share like a zip file or a GitHub repo of your
Okay.
like item folder
Okay.
and easily make that available to others. So inside the Creator Hub, you can like right click on any item you have or anything you built and configured in your scene, or even like the whole tree of items that that branch out downwards from a certain entity, and click create custom item, and that saves all of the resources and files necessary for that thing that you made to exist in a scene. And if you share that folder that was automatically created with someone else, they are able to just drag that into their scene as well.
Oh, nice.
So there is a relatively easy flow for that. We need to make that experience easier and more obvious, and like share more often how to do that. Also with Dr. Quillo in the office hours, we try to communicate that, but I think it needs more repeating. It needs more. Like I still don't feel that I haven't seen a lot of people taking full advantage of that, and I'd love to make it more obvious for more people to start using that more and sharing that more with others.
Is there a video that showcases that? I would love to dive into it if there is.
Sort of. So in the documentation, we have a page about custom items, which is a bit outdated because that was from a time where we didn't have the ability to add code into a smart item. But in that page, there is a video that I recorded, which is probably outdated in more than one way. But I guess the main things are still relevant.
Oh, nice.
So if you go to the docs, the scene editor, interactivity, custom items, there is a video there.
Okay.
But again, that might need some updating.
Cool. I'll ask a Rustang or something. Rustang, you're in the audience. Make that video. You're awesome at those. Not to put you on the spotlight.
I love this.
This is awesome.
I love building this direction. I've been giving this a lot of thought as well. We host the WIP and weekly metaverse meetups, and been giving a lot of thought to smart items that work in world. And I wasn't actually calling them that myself, but that's essentially what I've been talking about and giving a lot of thought to and everything. What do you think is like and I agree, and I love what you said about the scanner. I feel like the metaverse is sort of like the playground for some of these things to actually like take shape in real life, on a long enough trajectory and everything. So this is the sandbox here. What do you think are some of like the and in terms of the marketplace and everything, right? I think that's almost the inevitable course of events. People are going to want these things, and to have them in world and to have different functionalities and everything. What do you think is like the lowest hanging fruit, like the smart items that'll come out that are going to be the ones initially that are most easily accessible, and people are going to be like, I want that for my parcel. I guess the most highly desirable ones are the ones that people will start like, building on first.
I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I have a few ideas of things that I would like to see and that I think are common needs that are sometimes hard to achieve. For example, a wearable dispenser or an OP dispenser.
Yes.
That's something that I've seen, like so many scenes do this, and it's a great way to get people hooked with an event. Just giving something away for free is kind of like the oldest trick in the book to try to get a crowd to appear, and it's a technical challenge for many creators. Like you need to code today to be able to do that, and we could easily expose this as you just drop into your scene, you configure a couple of fields that are part of the UI, and have it working. I think we're very close to be able to make that possible. I think like we're one Creator Hub release away from having all of the blockers that were stopping us from being able to do that ready, and then it's just a matter of building the smart item.
Very cool. I have another, I remember this is something that I just posted about our interview with Talk Sam, And one of the things he mentioned, and also for me, I do a lot of educational stuff around AI world building, but since Decentraland is 18 and above, I can't really use it. I use, things like Hyperfi and stuff, but like, how do you see bridging and onboarding, the Roblox generation, the Minecraft kids into this platform? Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's something that we like. At least I've been in conversations about this many times from the foundation. This idea that the newer generation that grew up with Roblox as the way to meet their friends has a much more naturalized, a relationship with the metaverse. It's not this novel, hypey thing that
Yeah.
is the future. It's just a, the default way to meet your friends as they've been growing up. And yeah, we have the hope that a lot of people who grew up with Roblox, as they grow older, they might feel that it's that they outgrew the whole the whole community, which is a lot more oriented towards kids, and might feel that Decentraland is a, a good substitute for that. Yeah, we have that hope. Um, we're trying to make that happen. We'll see if we achieve that in the coming years.
No, awesome. And I'm curious, I know you don't work alone in your team. Like, what's it like day to day in your role? I'm always curious, like what certain teams do. And I've gotten to meet a lot of different team members over the years. And how is your role different? And how's it, you obviously spoke about you earlier, but yeah.
There's always a bunch of things to juggle. We have is this whole way to schedule our tasks with big big 3 week or 6 week projects. So I'm always officially in charge of a few of those, and I'm always checking up on those. But then beyond that, there's always a whole backlog of bugs to fix and whatnot. Um, so there's always a lot of that. I'm always building little things on the side to test things. So that means I spend sometimes a significant part of the day just writing bug reports because
I can
some
imagine.
of these bugs, they, in order to run into them, you have to be deep into the process of building something. It's not something that maybe the QA team can easily pick up on because it doesn't show up if you do some superficial testing. You need to be building something complex. I have a lot of meetings, more than I like sometimes, but with all sorts of teams, like with devs, with people from the Regenesis labs, with our own content team. They are one of the biggest, sources of bug reports and feature requests, since they are deep over their heads with using our SDK and tools. So they know very well where the weak points and the broken things are. So they keep a close relationship with them. And then a whole lot of meetings that could have been an email. For sure, there's a lot of that as everywhere.
I know. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to do this for us. But yeah, I totally understand meetings like.
This is not a burden at all.
Yeah, like from in my perspective, like how can we use AI to avoid 99% of meetings? It's like everyone put the point you were going to say, the one thing you really wanted to put across, done. It's like, oh, okay. And that's really what most people get out of meetings anyway, usually one or two little key elements. And so then basically you guys have a lot of sprints, like you're saying 3 to 6 week sprints. You manage those sprints, and then no, that's nice, because then that gives you like those focus points when you're working. And so you were saying the you're working more closely with Regenesis Labs, and me who has worked with them in the past a lot. How have you seen the evolution into from Decentraland down to the Regenesis Labs? Like, are you seeing? I mean, I'm seeing it really positive personally. It seems like it. I just don't know. You're much more connected, but would love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Things have changed quite a lot. And I mean, they have a great team, like very capable devs, and like having them focused on a cohesive objective just makes the output so much more tangible. In the past, yeah, with DAO funded projects, there were a lot of great ideas, some great things.
Yeah.
Some great things came out of that, but then it was a
Hmm.
chaotic process with
Yes.
a lot of possibilities for exploits and a lot of alignment problems, I'd say, that just made it inefficient. Um, so yeah, I really think that you know even though the DAO's, let's say, original narrative was kind of an inspiring vision, like it was also hard to make that real.
Yeah, the chaos of like the herding the cats and there's a lot of
Mm,
goodwill.
yeah.
There's a lot of not necessarily people doing good, like you're saying, with the funds they got. You're just like, the trolls, the scammers, the positive. But there were a lot of really, really good people trying to do good, but it was
Uh,
definitely difficult.
yeah. I don't want to understate that, and especially like maybe some of them are watching this, and I don't want to, you know, talk down or offend anyone because I've seen some projects that were like standing, yeah,
No,
and some stuff
definitely.
that is still useful today,
Yeah.
or some stuff that would still be useful today, but like they it got outdated and non-maintained and unfortunately no
Yeah.
longer around.
No, definitely reminded me a lot of like early DAOs reminds me a lot of like in the 70s, the early communes. Great ideas. And then in the end, it's just like crazy madness. And like, I live, most of the time in New Mexico near a lot of these like where in near Taos where there's a lot of these, airships and communes used to happen and the stories you hear and like I'm like, God, it's a lot like the DAO. Like all the madness, all the
That's so
happiness,
funny.
all the idealism and like they used to have what's it called? MCon, like all these conferences, even in Denver, MCon, like for all about DAOs and like so being close to all of that back in the day and seeing the evolution. And it's so funny. I remember one time in the DAO, a lot of them were like, one of the questions they asked everybody, how many of you know, like, like have been affected by the madness of the DAOs? Everyone raised their hand. It felt like an AA meeting. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah," it's like we've been the politics, the craziness, and anyhow,
Mhm.
but they worded it much better. But right now I can't remember exactly. But it was really funny. It was more like a giant 3 day of people not commiserating, but realizing, oh, okay, we're all having similar challenges. How do we overcome them? But it made you realize it's just it's basically a huge experiment with human dynamics. It's never necessarily easy. You're always gonna have those
Mhm.
characters.
Yeah.
They just it seems like they're attracted like honey. All of us are. Like the full range. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yo, Nico, you've been like involved in DCL for so long, and I'm like listening to you and
Mhm.
Fractalians talk, and I have like some understanding of like the nuances of like how everything is structured there. But obviously, y'all have like much more hands-on experiences with it and everything. I'm just curious, like from start to where you are now, like what are some of like your like I don't know, most interesting DCL moments or things that stick out over the years or like pivotal points. If someone was like, if you think back over your time, like digging deep into DCL, and maybe some of these are public facing, maybe some of these are just like things that you worked on that, are the first thing that come to mind and everything. But, from, I was there early days too, when DCL was born, and it's come a long way from then till now. So
Yeah.
yeah, you got a long take on the metaverse broadly, but obviously DCL specifically. So yeah,
Mhm.
what sticks out over the years?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a wild ride with, all sort of things changing. We've had several different CEOs with different styles, with different ways of working. We've been, a fringe project, then we've been thrust into mainstream at a ridiculous rate. There was a point in time that was the perfect storm of, um, you know, of metaverse hype combined with NFT hype combined with the whole COVID lockdown and everything, everyone thinking that metaverse live events are the future. There was the, I think one of the most salient times for me was during, let's say, 2020, when really things were um, just too much. Like
Things are
e-
popping
e- e-
off, man. Yeah, dude, I was
yeah,
there. It was
but
crazy.
being on the inside, I wouldn't want that to happen again, to be honest. Even though, even though, yeah, we were growing at a ridiculous rate, it felt like it was just too much. Um, we couldn't keep up. Like we had brands like Coca-Cola or Nike or Jose Cuervo, just like, begging to be part of the metaverse without knowing what that meant.
Oh God.
And we had to run and build events for these companies, because how are you going to say no to Coca-Cola? But it was, it felt like we were, running to catch these urgent things and not dedicating the time I would like to building proper foundations and
Yeah.
building, the longer term things that enable building cooler kinds of content. And for a long time, like, I felt like we were moving too slow on that front.
Hmm.
I'd say that in the last 2 years or so, like, we've been making serious, visible progress in what's possible for content creators. If I look back at like the last year, we've added, dynamic lights, the possibility to change the camera, the possibility to freeze the player, possibility to change the player's running speed or jump height. All of these things that I've been, you know, um, I've had this wish list that I've been maintaining and curating for years, with so many things that just for very long, for so long, it just felt like I wasn't almost crossing off things from that list. And now this last year or two, like, I, I
Okay.
I have seen many of those things be finally done, and it's been cathartic for me to be able
Nice.
to say, now finally we can do that.
Yo,
This,
say more, man. What's on?
What's on the list?
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I,
no, that's
I want to know
exactly
what
my
other
point.
things. We're both like, ooh, he has a. I'm sure they're awesome ideas.
I didn't want to cut him off, but I was like, yeah, what's on the list?
so I'd say maybe the thing that I'm most excited about that is, in the making now. And I guess I can talk about this because we've announced this in the all hands, is having automated servers for scenes. So
Nice.
right now, if you want to have any kind of um, you know multiplayer interaction within your scene, you you can either use the default multiplayer component that we offer in the Creator Hub, which is okay but limited and not so powerful, or you launch your own server and you need to figure out how to launch a server with Firebase or with Colisius or with all of these things, which are whole other technology with a whole other SDK, a whole other language to write in, and then you have to host your own server, pay for it. I've done it a bunch of times and I didn't enjoy it. It was a nightmare. Um, if you look, for example, at Roblox, they have a great system for that, where while you're writing your scene's code, you're also writing the server-side code, and you can have stuff running in the server. And when you publish both seamlessly. We are developing something that works like that as well. So with that, you can, for one, have like more engaging multiplayer stuff. We could have like a whole game where a server controls what's going on rather than each player's instance.
Nice.
I don't want to get too technical with this because maybe this requires a
Can
little
you give
bit
an
of.
example of what that would look like?
Sure. So you might have a scene, for example, where someone like a game of tag, let's say, and how that works normally in the Decentraland scene, whoever is it um, knows who tag the tagging person is, but there is no final authority about what is going on in the game. Every person has their own
Okay.
version of what's going on, and the person who's it locally knows that they're it, and they share that information to others, and others mark that locally, but there isn't any final authority. If you have a game server, there is a single place that keeps track of like the canonical version of this information, and and like everyone consults what is like the final version of things from the server. What that means is that cheating in a game becomes way harder, and you can add all sorts of anti-cheat rules. Like whenever someone makes a change in the scene, the server can check and double check if the conditions were reasonable, if this person has admin status or not, or whatever you know checks make sense. Um, and what is also super useful and important is the ability to write, permanent data into the
Hmm.
scene.
Nice.
So one limitation that all the Decentraland scenes have today is that when everyone leaves the scene just reverts back to its default state. So like if you want to have, say, a leaderboard in the scene, you can't store that directly in the scene. You have to have your own server just to be able to keep track of the high scores and who had a high score. With this, you wouldn't need anything extra. Like the server can just take care of storing the high scores. And as a content creator, you just need to add a couple of lines of the scene code you're already writing. And when you publish, that is publishing both things seamlessly. The scene itself and the server that goes with it. So yeah, maybe some of these are problems that you don't fully appreciate until you're the one building a scene and running into these limitations and complications. But believe me, they are game changers when it comes to especially when you're trying to build like game mechanics, but not necessarily just that. For example, in this scene we're in right now, there is the problem of the streaming, which, like me, for example, I was not able to see the stream, and some other players might have the same problem. If we had a server, on the other hand, we could have some backup process, making sure that everyone is seeing the stream live and with the right URL. So like the server could be continuously every 10 seconds reminding everyone what is the right URL to see on that screen. And that could be like since there's a single place that has like the final word about what is going on in the scene, like that enables that kind of mechanic. Yeah, apologies if that was not entirely clear to some of you, but yeah, that is a big deal. That does make content creation, like advanced scenes, way easier, and makes a lot of these things which might be out of reach to a lot of creators actually doable and achievable. What
Dude,
else?
yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
No, no, I'm
Don't let me stop you.
I know we're both. No, I'm loving it.
Track back to what your original question was, because I just went down a rabbit hole there and lost what my trail of thought was.
I think we were asking about your,
Um,
your list of things that you're finally coming to light or wanting to
right,
see in
right.
Decentraland, which that is a huge one. I'm
Mhm,
sure the Rustings and the Lastrums
mhm.
are like, hell yeah, finally. Like
Yeah, I bet to them it would make a world of difference. What else? Well, I'm putting a lot of effort into making the Creator Hub friendlier and easier to use. Like a lot of the mechanics of just the basics of dragging and dropping items are still rough around the edges. Like we built those in a bit of a hurry, and now we want to just like polish those and make it just feel like a proper
hmm
tool, and not like a developer built like developer art kind of thing. So I personally want to put a lot of love into that. Even though right now all of my devs are busy with different initiatives, whenever I don't have the bandwidth that I wish I had to do these kind of things, I'm vibe coding stuff myself,
Nice.
and doing things that are way over my head, but in terms of of technical complexity. But with Cursor, I can actually get them done. So yeah, that is also one of my big objectives for the next
Yeah, it's definitely
months
gotten
/ the rest of the year.
easier to use, like, the Creator Hub over the years, but I would love to see more of that. Just even placing, I mean, a lot of the stuff I do in Blender and bring it in already kind of arranged, but like to have it be easier, more intuitive, less like just even the moving things. And it does feel like, if I show somebody that tool, it's like, oh, it's not for me, it's too complicated, right? The initial reaction is like
Yeah.
a little, or it would be great to be
Right.
like easy mode, dev mode button or something, like, so it makes it like a lot easier. But it's definitely improved over the last 6 years, like, not whatever, like
Yeah.
iteration of building in DCL and all the added, like, what's available there to just play, and all the awesome tutorials by the community, like Canessas and all that, like, really helpful. So I'm always directing people that I meet, like, hey, you want to learn to build, check these out or do that. But the vibe coding ones was so much fun. Like, back to that, I was just again, watched them all and like started doing things that I never thought I would be able to do. And I love vibe coding, not just for it having do it all, but I always love asking, like, okay, break this down, show me exactly what I did, so I can actually learn a little bit to be able to like understand what's actually happening in the background. It's that, to me, has been the most awesome thing about AI. It's like, hey, break this down like I were a kindergartner, okay? Like, I have no idea what you just did, but I want to understand what you're doing with those, packets that you just, like back-end databases you just created for me. Like, what the hell's going on? So it's been a lot of fun, just that just even having that, like, back to the code button that connects to Cursor, and that to me just made it so much easier than what I thought I was going to have to do. So that's why initially when the vibe coding came out, I was like, oh god, I don't even know how to do that. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure they're going to be great and show, but that already was like in my head like a block, and I didn't have enough time. But I'm like, oh, if I'd known that just that button, everything would be done, it would be so much easier. Like, little things go a long ways. So it's really great to see that you're there, like making sure, okay, how do we make this better? And I'm sure over the last 2 years, I have seen huge jumps across the board of everything that's available. So it makes me really happy.
Yeah, me too. Like these last couple of years have felt like progress on the creator front. Like there was a time when I was frustrated that we weren't doing enough on that front, but now I can say the same. Like, I'd say my natural tendency is to always complain about something, but there's a lot less to complain about now.
Yeah, but you're always actively solving those
agree.
problems.
No, I want to co-sign on what both y'all were saying earlier, as far as the accessibility of these tools and putting them in the hands of creators. And I really feel like I'm one of these people that you were mentioning, Fractilians, that like sort of initially has assumed that these tools were out of my range or inaccessible to me, or that I just wasn't like technical enough to understand how to work with them. And it's really not the case at all. And I feel like there's a big disconnect, like right now, between like people who actually like would enjoy and want to use these tools and actually recognize that they're capable of using these tools. So I think making them more accessible intuitively in hubs is in the creator hubs is the right way to go. Just in terms of like you're saying, like onboarding people into knowing almost what their potential is with this stuff. And I feel like that's really the big unlock here across the board is, sort of giving people the potential to run wild with a toolkit that's intuitive and they understand. And I don't know from personal experience what Roblox's toolkit is like, but my understanding is it for the most part it's pretty intuitive as well. And I don't know how we like necessarily capture like that generation specifically. I don't think it's building something akin to Roblox, but I do think it's there's definitely something here with like the smart items and putting the tools in people's hands to create them. But also, again, like I think there's like an awareness gap or like a consumer education gap where like, sort of like Fractillions was saying, like sometimes you don't even really realize what you're capable of, and how to get people who are like really interested in this stuff, getting people actually in here, like using these tools and showcasing what they can do, because this, Nico, from being around as long as I do, you put tools in people's hands that are awesome, and they build in directions that you would have never anticipated them going in with them. And I feel like that's what we need out here is the burst of energy in 2020 was crazy. And I remember like having very similar thoughts as you, that like it was almost better when there was less hype, because you could build in peace almost to some extent, and sort of without having like all the distractions and everything. But there was an influx of builders then, and how do we get that that same energy on the build side that I think inherently leads to some of the fray and the nonsense and everything. But I don't know. I'm just sort of spitballing here, but I don't know. Curious to hear your thoughts if you have any on all that.
As you said, like when we build tools thinking they'll be used in one way, and then people just take that their own direction and do things we never expected.
That's cool.
That they would build, and that to me is fascinating. And I think like my most like rewarding experiences of all my time in Decentraland have always been the game jams, and seeing what people go wild with when they build stuff in game jams. It's really gratifying, and sometimes completely mind-blowing to see that maybe some some simple thing that we added to the SDK, someone takes it to a insane extreme and actually builds a whole game out of that. And I find that really, really rewarding.
Yeah, that would be fun. It's just like you're making these. Yeah, as a teacher, like I totally agree. That's to me is my happy place. It's like you show them like a basic framework, and then they like explode your expectations, and that's when it gets so fun. And then you get to be the learner. They're the teachers, right? Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love that. And I'm curious, like this is like there used to be a lot more of this back in the day, cross metaverse stuff, but are you like, what is your take on, a lot of the, there used to be a lot more places to build, like, but like I used like back in like early days of, Art Week, like there used to be more of that. I would do like Monoverse, Hyperfy, and in Decentraland, and everyone talking about, obviously when we were able to download our avatars with whatever, wearables, that was really fun to bring across everywhere as, different formats. And
that's something we want to bring back, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
not one of my projects, but one of the projects that are being pushed I'd love to see. Yeah.
Very cool.
But so sorry if you were building up into.
No, I wasn't. I'm just rambling. Like I mean, I could seriously talk forever. I want to make sure before we end, you talk about your music, since that's how I know a lot of, what are you doing with your, you've done a couple of performances in the past, like, do you plan to do it anymore?
I'd love to. I'd love to. I kind of planned to for a music festival this year, but then it changed and it overlapped with I had my wedding just at that time.
Oh wow! So, congrats!
Thanks. But I did a little live show during my wedding, by the way.
Very cool.
I hadn't played live for a while at that point. I would love to play live again in Decentraland. Yeah. It's just a matter of getting my schedule together and planning for a date and planning for a venue, etc. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing that before.
Love that. Yeah. What were you saying?
For those of you who didn't see me that time, I play guitar, instrumental guitar. I don't sing. I will not sing. I refuse to sing. No one wants that. But yeah, I play mostly my own songs on guitar.
That's great.
I love it.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, you usually have your.
So what do? Sorry, go ahead. First,
No, go for it.
I was just curious, like, as a musician, man, and someone who's as well versed in the metaverse stuff, like, what do musicians need, especially ones who are outside of, maybe the knowledge base, they've never heard of Decentraland or they're not too familiar with, like, how do we get someone to just, easily hop in here and play a set or something like that?
Hmm.
Are there like
Now
specific
that
tools or like ways to streamline that experience or things that would be helpful?
So we've been adding a few things in the past few months that I think make it relatively simple or simpler. So now with the admin tool smart item and with the whole streaming capability, that has become a lot easier. Like if you have OBS set up, that's or like if you're familiar with OBS, it's just a matter of what's particularly showing on the
Yeah.
UI. Just in case, don't reveal.
Yeah, I'm not going to show the stream key. I know. I'm not going to show that. I was like, don't show this secret thing. Yeah, but this is so much easier. I remember back in the day, just to stream was like, oh my god, it took forever. But this little admin tool edition smart item is like so awesome. I was like, it's that easy.
And by the way, a little sneak peek of something that should be coming out really soon. We are adding a tip feature.
Ooh.
So you can add an Ethereum address to be like the recipient of tips in your scene.
Oh, very cool.
And whenever that's available, a little icon appears up on the top that like allows people to send mana to the scene owner.
That's awesome.
So that can be a little incentive also for playing live shows and stuff like that. Like there's I don't foresee this being the primary source of income of anyone, at least not right now. But it's definitely a nice incentive.
No, for sure. I've been wanting that forever. I mean, a lot of people always talked about that, so that's great. Is that like in the next month, year, or how soon you said?
Sooner.
So, ooh, that's really cool.
I believe it's pretty much already developed. It's just a matter of aligning the whole launch plan and releasing it.
Oh, so very cool.
Quite soon.
No, that's awesome because there's so many builds. Like, I mean, I think of Art Week right away, and obviously the music events, and like how to just like the buskers. You're like, oh, cool, like tip like here and there, and be able to do mana is so easy and nice. So very cool. Hats off to that.
Yeah, that was a nice question.
Yeah, it also just feels like building in that direction. I feel like more like options to interact with the environment, which is again what we're talking about with the smart items. I feel like just makes for like a more immersive experience and everything. So this is cool. It's cool to see y'all putting your energy towards this, really putting some powerful stuff in creators' hands. This is awesome, man. I appreciate you taking the time to explain all this.
Yeah, I have one last.
My pleasure. Like please.
No, go. It's sorry I cut off because occasionally my connection slows down and I realize I talk over you guys. I'm so sorry. I guess I have before we close. I just realized, oh my god, we only have a few minutes before the end of the top of the hour. But I'm curious to hear what you think. What is your advice for someone just starting out building in DCL, and what would you give them? Yeah.
So I think the direction we went with the vibe coding hackathon last year was a very nice one. So combining the Creator Hub with Cursor, I think that's a very nice and powerful set of tools. If you're a Blender, if you're familiar with Blender, that also opens up a ton of doors. I think those three tools are like the full suite of things that you'd need. but I would start with the Creator Hub and Cursor, like
Okay.
that. And yeah, learning to use Cursor just opens an amount of doors that is like kind of mind blowing. Um, and yeah, like if you don't need, buying land is super expensive, but you don't need to buy land. You can, buy a name, which is not. Um, and yeah, I think the tutorials we did at that point were super useful, but they're now a little outdated. We need to think about redoing them. For the time being, we have the office hours meetings every Thursday with Dr. Grillo. I think that's also a great place to, yeah, to not just to learn, but also to ask questions, um, and also meet other creators who, might also be, a great way to get some help. Uh, and yeah, like the best way to learn is doing. So like
Mm-hmm.
try to set some random achievable objective, try to build that, and even if it was too ambitious and you realize that it was too much, you definitely acquired a bunch of skills through that, and then the next project is going to be way easier.
Yeah, love that. That's exactly how I
That's
do
good
it.
advice.
And I hope somebody in the audience or you, Nico, create that specific smart item creation tutorial, because I want to watch it. I want to start creating a bunch of cool little smart items, and then once I learn how to do it, then I can make videos too. I just want to make sure I have all the parts. But yeah, I'll watch the resource you gave us earlier just to get wrap my head around it, and then yeah. But that reminds me of in Hyperfy, there's hypes. So basically the same idea, shareable. It has code base you can easily share, and it makes it really fun. We just drag and drop things into in-world. It's functioning. So that's really cool how that is kind of similar to that. And I see the power. I know the power, so I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna be on the lookout for making my own.
I wasn't familiar with this hypes feature they have. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh yeah, everything is
yeah.
a hype. You can download everything within there. It becomes a shareable like little package, and it's really cool. Yeah, yeah, it's super powerful. But it reminds, again, it's a smart item thing. So when you explain it, I was like, hey, I get it. Like I have a context. I have something to compare it to, and I know the power, because then, but also that's where the idea of like, oh, they don't have necessarily the best library of them, but they are, they do have some libraries. And that's why I thought, okay, there needs to be a library of smart items for Decentraland too, because that's right away when you're learning, you're like, I just want to see and look at the code base just so I can understand. Not that I would understand any of it, but it just gets fun when you see what other people's have created, then you jump off what they did and with other ideas.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we should have some kind of a, you know, collaborative, awesome repository kind of thing.
Yes.
For smart items, like beyond the official catalog, like
Yes.
have some place where anyone can easily post their own.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that could be a nice project.
Yeah, that would be. I would be there all the time downloading everything. I was like, how come I have no more space on my computer? That's like, I have like 2, 3, 4 computers now, and they're all like on various levels of no more space. I have all these external drives, and yeah, but it is nice to know where you can get a collection of things, and if you want to build something really quickly and add really cool functionality, it's all done. So it's not like, oh, I'm starting from scratch. It's like, no, I can create the base. I have 80% done, and then you can build upon that and make it even more fun.
Right.
Well, awesome. I mean, again, like, yeah, Rizzo was closing up earlier, and we're already past by a few minutes, but really, really appreciate you taking the time and sharing. I mean, there's so many things. I have like 5 pages of notes now from our meeting. I was like, this, okay. I have my to-dos. But yeah, I'm excited. And when is the next all hands?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Because are you
next all hands? So it would be near the end of the current cycle, which should be like towards the end of February.
Okay, cool. I have to write, because I keep missing them, but I watch the recordings. But it's so much fun to be there live. So end of Feb. And there's always when everyone talks about all the cool alpha and new releases. So I'm sure definitely recommend everybody in the audience if you haven't been. They're fun.
I have it down for the 25th of
Okay,
February.
25th.
I'm not entirely sure if that's the final date, but that's what I see in my calendar now.
Okay, awesome. Well, do you if you have any closing things that we didn't cover that you'd like to share, or if not, we can start wrapping it up. And thank you.
I can't think of any right now, but thanks, Fractalians. It's been really nice speaking to you again. Like it's been a while since you last spoke, and I always enjoyed it.
Oh.
Also, Rizzo, yeah, great talking with you.
Yeah, man. It's been great, dude. Really appreciate your time. It's been fascinating, honestly. I'm gonna have to look more into Cursor and the creative stack. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely walk you through because you'll realize how powerful it is, and then you'll be like me. Like I was spent all weekend playing. I was giggling. I was like, "No way, it's done!" And I was like creating the blocks, the little things, shooting things, and I was creating little shooting things and like dragging stuff. And I was like, "Okay, I need more tutorials."
I want to make shooting things.
Yeah, it was just fun to just connect it and have it work.
Not so long ago, I taught my dad how to use Cursor. He's 70. He has this website that he's been maintaining since the 90s.
Oh wow!
With bird pictures. He's a bird photographer. He has some amazing
nice.
pictures of that.
Very
but
cool.
He has this website that is, an antique thing that he built back in the days of Dreamweaver and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah.
That.
So great.
And now he's completely obsessed with Cursor.
Oh, awesome!
Like he spends like up until like 3 a.m. and he speaks like in plural, like we were trying to debug this. Who's we? Oh, me and Cursor.
Dude, that's how I see it. I feel like it's like Replit. I've been using Replit and Lovable, but Cursor now, I'm like, okay, this is where I really need to dive into more. But that's so cool that he's doing that. Yeah, but I feel like that I've spent so many hours just like, I do say we because it's not me. I just get to hang out for the journey. I'm like, oh my God, I just did that. I'm like, thank you. You rock. I love you. Like, thank you for teaching me. You're building things. That's so cool. So his website, I'm sure now is super deluxe compared to what it was.
Not in terms of design,
Okay.
but yes, in terms of maintainability.
Okay, nice.
Like he redid the whole back end of it.
Oh, wonderful.
And like, yeah, it would have been impossible to do by hand because it was thousands and thousands of individually built pages.
Oh my God.
With the same repeated format again and again. So yeah, it would have been unfeasible without a tool like that.
That is so cool, though.
Just as an example of, like anyone can master using Cursor.
No, you should share the link to your dad's website.
I know. I want to see this website too. We're both think the same. I'm like, you can send that to us, please. I love birds, so.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try it in the chat.
You said birds, right? Or did I mishear you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A birder. Very cool. No, I love it. Yeah, and that's why, like, I'm always, even when I was telling Rizzo, like, Rizzo, you got to try Replit and Lovable. You'll make a site in 2 seconds. He's like, at first, and then he took off and built such cool things. That's what we dove into last week. And just like showing how easy it is to like, play with these tools, do what you want, especially for creators who want, have a basic portfolio, or it's so much easier now. Holy moly, it's like 1,000, 10,000 times faster. And it's, yeah, so.
Mm-hmm.
But awesome. Well,
this website's awesome.
Site on the,
oh, you did?
I just shared the site.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Very cool.
Yeah, this is great.
Ooh, look at all the pajaritos.
Everyone check out the website. It's in the chat in DCL. Yo, Nico, Fractalians, I got to jump.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm going to learn a little bit about birds and spiders and insects and reptiles. Thank you both so much. I'll catch y'all in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll wrap it up too. And yeah, definitely. Thank you and look forward to the all hands and all the other, whatever else you send our way, please. I love to jump in and learn. So feel free to always send me anything that you think is useful.
Sure.
Awesome. Okay. Until next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks all. Bye-bye.